call you my soulmate client. One of my friends, and she has been a client of mine since February. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I am still sharing to my groups. Um, she has she's just an amazing person, and I wanted to celebrate her. She has come such a long way, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the details of that, but both in body and mind, because what I do in terms of working with women on wellness and health and fitness has so much more to do. There's so much more to it than like what size pants you wear, right? And she has just
Yeah.
made such strides. I'm so proud of her. I wanted to come here tonight and let her share a little bit of her story with you. And here we go. Okay, so now we are set. So here is Samar. You guys meet Samar. Say hello to her.
Hi, everyone.
And I'm going to jump right in and let her share with you. So, Samar, tell folks kind of like where you were and what life was like before you were working with me, and what it was that brought you to working with me.
Okay, so before I work with you, I was on a weight coaster. So basically, going up and down, yo-yo dieting, and I've tried it all, like literally from that fasting to programs that doesn't work to everything. And I always either I'm too hungry or too tired or too and at the end I was like I was tired. I was depressed. I didn't like what I was, but at the same time I'm like I give up on myself. I'm like I will never gonna be healthy. I will never lose weight. This is who I am. This is how I was born. Because I was overweight since I was a kid. So also the abuse that I took, and it took a long time for me to speak about it because words hurt more than anything. Like even if you stab a person, it's not gonna hurt you as much as words does, and it stick with you even if you don't believe it. It still stays with you.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. And food was my comfort too. So whenever I'm angry or I'm sad or I'm facing any problem, I run to my chocolate, to my chips, to my pretty much refrigerator. And, you know, so, and it all started, and it's funny because one day, and I didn't know who you were, by the way. You were standing in the hallway, and I was looking at you. I was like, oh my God, I want to be like her. Can we switch places or something? So, I believe I asked you, like, we were in a meeting or something, and I asked you, like, what are you doing? I mean, you look amazing. What are you doing? And we started talking, and um, you told me that you have the program that you help people that it's not just weight loss, it's changing mind, training, and I was thinking, and to be honest, I was thinking, uh-oh, one of those fail pitch again, and I'm not gonna stick to it, but it wasn't that. And literally, I've been with you since 2019, and it was a struggle in a sense that changing my mindset, changing how I look at myself, absorb your encouragement and everything, like how you talk to me, how sometimes I don't want to use the word kick me in the ear, so tough love. But I mean, all of that helped me get what I am today. And it took a whole year. And you told me it's gonna take a village. We need to take it one step at a time, make small changes. And I was thinking, okay, I can do that. And then also, for example, I do remember also one time when I was like, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm not losing weight, I'm like, and one simple question, have you calculated your nutrition? Are you paying attention? What extras you're, eating? And I was like, no, no.
Yeah, that matters, right?
So,
So a couple
yes.
I want to jump back just a little bit because you've said
Okay.
things that I think are really important and critical for people for
Mm-hmm.
it to like soak in. So one of them is full disclosure. In my former full time life, Samar and I were colleagues, and so that's how we
Yes.
knew each other to begin with. And so she followed. I knew that she followed me on social media, which many of them did.
Mm-hmm.
I just never said anything. I knew that you guys were doing that. You were stalking me, but I never said anything. But if someone approached me about it, then I would share. And so, again, just to, full disclosure, we did used to work together. And
Yes.
about that, I have been in education for since, now I'm sharing too much about how old I am, but since 1992 is when I first started teaching. And then about 6.5 years ago, I got into also teaching health and wellness as a part of my own experience in getting healthy,
Mm-hmm.
through living through a career of really high pressure and extreme stress.
Yes.
And so Samar, like many of the women who are in my groups, she's a professor. She is in education in a very stressful environment. Lots of teachers are in my groups, lots of corporate women, doctors, attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, Samar, you're a really good example of someone who is highly educated, who is extremely intelligent, who is professional and extremely has a good work ethic. And, because I think that's important for us to go to, because oftentimes the perception, I think, of people like us when we're heavy is that we're lazy, right? Or,
No, it was far from that, completely far from that. I mean, we both, and I'll tell you, we both are workaholic. I mean, she did not left her office before like 8 p.m. So I was wondering how she can handle all of it.
yeah,
Miss Wonder Woman over here. So it's no, it's very stressful. It's long hours, and it's just kind of like also how we deal with everyday problems
yeah,
from student to administration to colleagues, and it was like the whole 9 yards, like I say. And that's true. You remind me of something. I was literally watching Lori doing the exercise on Instagram. So one day I'm like, and after we talked about how, to change my lifestyle, I'm like, and you posted a video. It was like on YouTube video about like 2 or 3 minutes of, you know, not heavy exercise, just kind of movements that helps, relax. And I was really stressful that day. We dealt with something at work, and I was coming home really tired. So I'm like, let me try it. I didn't know it's gonna become an addiction. So I started following her moves. Now there's some moves that I found difficult, which I asked her like, "What should
sure,
I do?" And she's like, "Modification is as much as you know, um, is as much as good. Like it's not because you're modifying that mean you're doing less. No, you're just kind of doing what your body is capable of at this weight."
absolutely.
I'll tell you, I could not do probably half of them, unmodified. All of it was modified. I held to my chair, I held the wall. I was like trying, like pushing and, trying my best. But eventually, and it's amazing how your body start, um, getting acquainted with that kind of exercise, and eventually you start feel okay. Let me push myself a little bit more, and that's the key. I mean, pushing myself a little bit more got me right now to do planks.
Yeah.
I the other day I did that military thing. I forgot what that is. It was military push-up thing. I was like, what just happened? Did I do that? And I only did three. I mean, he did a whole minute,
Not only
and it was like
you did
10,
free
15.
where you
I did only three.
but not only, that, and that's, and that brings up another point. Like, we minimize what we're capable of and the progress that we make. And so you didn't only do three, you did three where you couldn't do any before that, right? Let
I wouldn't even dream of it.
Right. So what was kind of like what was that breaking point, or what was that moment of, or maybe it wasn't a moment, maybe it was a process, but what was it that just finally was the thing that got you to say, okay, I have to do something?
When I got to my car, which is from my living room to my car, and it's literally not more than 10, 15 steps, and I couldn't catch my breath anymore. I can feel my heart beating. I can feel that I'm pulsing everywhere. I'm tired, and that one thing, like the health feeling that I'm feeling, I'm not okay. I'm not in shape. The other thing, the other breaking point is when Corona hit, I was like, okay, I need to buckle down because I have two children that depending on me, a mom that is dependent on me, and I have to be there for them, and I cannot lose this battle.
Yeah.
I have to do something. I have to buckle up, and do something. And but I mean, at that point, I already started, the mind changing routine, the not looking at my mirror and feel like I'm ugly and awful and not worthy and all of that. That starts changing, and that's because of the support that the group showed, that you showed, that I know now if anything happened, I just go on the group and say, and I found like tons of support and advice, and it's kind of like my rock, my solid, um my go-to when I feel like, okay, I'm alone. I'm not alone anymore. I have four, five, six, seven. I forgot how many do we have in the group.
Well, and
A lot of friends,
yeah.
right? Like I could get as feel really the support of everybody,
So
and also.
let me stop you there for a second, because I think that's a
Mhm,
really good segue into the next part that I wanted you to talk about is, um, so we all kind of have whatever it is, whether it's rock bottom or something
mhm,
happens, or it's just a process of getting to the place where we're ready to make the change. And then, like you said, I always tell people it's not going to happen overnight. It is a process, right? And so, talk
yeah.
a little bit more. You've already kind of talked a little bit about it, but talk about what was it, or what are a couple of things, I guess, that are key in working with me and in the group that really made the difference for you? Because you've talked about how you tried everything before, right?
Mhm.
Nothing really worked. So what is the difference maker for this with you, that
To have a to have a good communication with you, to be honest, to let you know exactly how the person feel at that moment, because this is how they can get the help they need to change their mentality. So I was open. I was telling you like, okay, I really want, like, for example, to eat, or want not to exercise, or this is bothering me and I cannot do this. And your advice in return was always positive and constructive in a way that I can build on based on my capability, like what I can do with it. For example, when I told you I'm cheating, I have a meal cheat. You wrote me a paragraph about, no, you're not. That's not a meal cheat. You're cheating yourself at that point. And you gave me also a tip that every time there is something that I cannot, or I mean, change, or I feel like I'm stuck in that mindset that I have to eat, to actually print it, write a note of it. And that's what I did. I printed it, I made it as big as possible, and put it on my refrigerator.
yeah.
And it stayed there for the whole 3 days until I was capable to gain back my control. But that's what helped, reading your words, reading your talking to my logic about why this is important. And you always ask us this question: why this is important? Go back to your whys. You chose to be here. Why did you choose to be here? Do you want to go back to that state? And all that make me say, no, I don't. No, that piece of chocolate is not worth that. So, um, And it's a battle.
Yeah.
It's a constant mental battle with your evil self. Because I mean, let's be honest, we are addicted to junk food. We are addicted to sugar. When I see it, I want it. When I smell it, I want it. It's just kind of one of those things. But how to stop myself is always having, and I told you once, I always have you in my mind telling me, no,
Oh
nope,
no.
don't get near it. I'm gonna get after, come after you. But I mean, in a sense, I found how I could stop myself. So the person has to think what's really
Yeah.
important to them, and they have to do that work on themselves, but you have the experience to help them get there too, because it takes some time. I mean, it wasn't overnight
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I started 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely a process. And that's why I'm
Hmm.
so frustrated with these like quick fix kinds of programs and products that people are out there trying to sell. Because, this is a real like heart mission for me.
Yeah.
Lived it my entire life. I've tried it all too. And so,
Hmm.
helping women to get in touch with the real root issues, like you talked about, different triggers. There are different triggers that different people have, right? And so we have to
Hmm.
get in touch with, and I work a lot with, and thank you for mentioning that. I work a lot with people on really digging into what it is that motivates them, and not
Hmm.
motivation in that kind of cliche way that we talk about, like, oh, I'm motivated to go do this or that, because motivation in that sense is fleeting, and it's not something that really
True.
you'll stick with, right? And so
It doesn't last, no.
excited about starting some new fad diet, and at the beginning you're really motivated to do it, but as soon as it gets hard, and as soon as you're kind of over like the newness of it, then that motivation wanes. And so when I talk about motivation, and when I talk with clients like Samar, what we really do is we dig into what is the really root important reason. And there may be multiple ones, and sometimes they get difficult to get to because they may be so rooted in trauma and emotion that they're hard to go to and explore. And so that's
Yeah.
why you're right. This is as much or more about your mind as it is your body, and
But
changes that you see physically are kind of like a great side effect and a great benefit,
hmm,
right? To the
yes.
way you feel emotionally and psychologically, and
Hmm.
all of those good things that really stick with you in the long term. So now kind of jump forward and talk to me. You've lost what, 80 pounds now, right?
Yes.
You're like,
As if today.
yeah, you.
And continue, because I'm planning on.
Well, and so that you guys know, if you're watching, I'm going to drop her first photos, and she's given me permission to share them. One of the
Yes.
things that we do is, when you work with me, you don't have to publish them, but I do encourage you and require that you take photographs to document.
And you always ask if we want to publish or not. And I told you go ahead, because I know someone out there watching and they're gonna think, okay, if she can do it, that means I can do it. And if that what I could do, I feel like I did a huge service back, paying you back for helping me get to where I am, because it's not just the body, it's the mental changes too. I'm a lot more calmer, a lot more focused. I know what I want. I'm stronger in a lot of way, in the sense that I don't beat myself down anymore. I don't look at myself as ugly anymore or not
Exactly
worthy.
what I wanted you to get to. So talk to us more about, like, what is life like now? I know you're still working. You still consider yourself a work in. That's great. But 80 pounds down, multiple pant and dress sizes down. We don't even know really how many inches total from your start, but a ton. And again, you guys look in the comments, and I'll share her photos from when she first started documenting with photographs to today. So talk
Mhm.
about, like, what is life like now in terms of not just like wearing smaller clothes, but like
Do you want the childish version or the adult
both.
version? Well, the childish version, I can now crisscross my feet when I sit on a chair, which I didn't do that since high school. I could jump and run around, behind my kids, and I can catch up to them too, which without feeling, that I'm out of breath. Now, the adult version, I'm in my happier place. I don't really care anymore how people look at me because it's my journey, and you kept reminding me that over and over and over. So I'm not self conscious about it anymore. I can jump and do the exercises that make me jiggle, and we do jiggle, like very jiggling. So,
We all
but I don't care anymore. I mean, back in the days, it used to be really bad, as if like, oh, what if they see me jiggle? What if they laugh? What if they? Right now, I don't care anymore. I mean, to me, this is my journey, my place, and even at work, there is something that doesn't bother me anymore, and something that even I'm positive about. I'm, always have that bringing the positivity to what I'm doing. I'm looking at the glass half full, not half empty anymore, in a sense. Um, yeah, I'm in my happy place.
yeah. Talk a little bit more about that because like I said, we did used to work together.
um,
Or I was when I was in education full time, and now I'm doing this full time, which is
mhm.
absolutely a complete joy to me. But I saw a change in you even before I left that position. And so, talk to me a little bit about like the stress and how it affects you, and different aspects of work life for you. How has that changed?
Um, well, the thing about the stress is make me want to eat and want me to go down that self-destruction road again, meaning that, go look for the comfort food. Now, instead of looking for the comfort food, I look for exercise as my comfort. Um, I like that 30-minute mind numbness that you get when you're exercising. I don't like anymore that 5 minutes that I get from a chocolate bar anymore. It's much more worthy. It make me feel like I'm in control of something that is good for me versus something that's gonna hurt me. For example, like 2 or 3 days ago, I had a small issue that I was really worried about. And instead of running to my fridge, I ran to my support group. I ran to you guys. I listened to your words. I um, did even at some point to help me break down my post into what I'm doing for breakfast, what I'm doing for snack. And that was to my request, but I needed that
Yep.
accountability that someone is watching, someone is looking, so you better behave. And that helps sometimes. And that helps. So, and this is how I dealt with it. But if it wasn't how you supported me at the beginning and in the middle and still do, I would not been able to shift from the exercise as my control as my rock to from the food or the comfort food or the self-destruction of overstuffing my face kinda or eating the fridge like they say or going down that self, beaten down kind of road too. And I value for that. I cannot express, and I did tell you that before so many times that you saved my life
Uh,
literally.
I you know
In everything, in every word, because if it wasn't, if it's not for that conversation I had with you and helping me through that, I would probably have a heart attack right now because I was so overweight and even my doctor was worried at the point where I came to you, and right now he's so surprised and so happy. He's like, you you changed 180-degree on me. All your numbers are wonderful. I'm not worried about you anymore. I had a lot of He even said something about, he will have to, give me medication for high blood pressure, and also for my kidney. And I was really worried. And I did not want to like say anything because I don't want to worry anyone. But the way you help me is not just the mental, but also the health. um, it's everything. That's why I owe you so much. I mean, so much. I cannot even start with how I appreciate, you know, where you got me. I mean, it took some work on my part, but I think the heavy duty done by you
No,
talking
you
to me and helping me through it.
said I give you the tools and I give you the support, but you do the work, and I cheer you on every step of the way, and I hold your hand and I prop you up when you need it. Um, everyone, but you all do the work. You have to do the work. And I think you've touched on so many important things that I think will really resonate with people who are listening. It is wonderful to have energy to walk to your car and not feel like you're out of breath. It is wonderful to be able to jump and run and do all of those things. It's wonderful, to step on the scale and see those pounds drop and to wear smaller clothes. um, and one of the things that you didn't mention that I'm going to tell you that I saw a big change, and I have continued to see a change in you, is your confidence, and how you've always been this beautiful soul and this beautiful heart and this kind, warm person, but you just sort of sank into yourself. And even in meetings, I would see you kind of sit in the corner. You didn't say a whole lot. You were always very polite and friendly, but you kept to yourself quite a bit. And over the last several months that we worked together, I would leave meetings with you or see you in the hallway and talk with you. And you were just a ray of sunshine. And you talked more in meetings. You asked questions. You were more confident to state your position about things. And I just was always so proud of how you had come out of your shell. And I think a lot of that had to do with all of the things that you talked about, feeling much more confident and worthy as a woman. And you're a highly educated, very intelligent, very accomplished person. And I applaud you for that. But at the same time, so many people like us, right? So many educated, intelligent, accomplished women hide this sort of insecurity that
Yeah.
with in terms of how we feel about ourselves. And I've seen you like blossom, and I know everybody who knows you knows that to be true. And the other thing is, I want to applaud you because you're right. I do give the tools and the support, but like I said, you have to do the work. I can't do the work for you. And it's not a straight path from start to wherever your goals are. There are lots of ups and downs, and we work through a lot of emotional and physical, and you mentioned sugar addiction. There are
Yes.
that we work through together. So it's a curvy path, and sometimes you take
Mhm.
steps forward and 3 steps back, but we keep working together and plugging away. But you have to be willing to do that with me, right? You have to be willing to do that work for us to get where we are here.
Yes.
And there is no greater, you thank you so much for the credit and the love, but you all have no idea how much you mean to me and what it means to me to see you make the changes that you make. It is absolutely a joy for me to work with you all, and it's such an honor and a blessing when you trust me to help you. So I applaud you. I love you. I did not mean for this to turn into a tear fest. Thank you so much for being here. You guys show Samar some love, drop comments, share this video, and reach out to her. I know that she is happy to answer any questions that you have. I am too. Reach out to her, send her a private message, and tell her, because I know there are people, Samar, thank you very much for doing this, because I know there are people out there listening that you're helping by sharing your story. And just
And I am nervous, you guys. I'm not out of my shell too much yet.
You did a beautiful, beautiful job. And thank you so much. I will drop those photos in the comments as soon as we get off so that people can see how far you've come. They won't even believe that those first photos were the same person that they're seeing tonight. So, um,
I have many more to vouch that it was me.
yeah, it was her. I saw her in living. But you look amazing and you're a beautiful person.
But thank you so much for having me. Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. Talk to you later. Bye, you guys.